Hey everybody, this is Eric with D&D Miniature and Board Games. We have gotten requests for a room tour video, so I'll be honest with you, I had to go online and kind of see what these things were. So, if you guys want to see what's inside, stay tuned. Okay, so you want to go in the game room. That's cool. We can go in. There's a couple other locations in the house though that you kind of need to see because the game room kind of overflows into other areas of the house. Like any gamer, probably have more than we're supposed to have. What did I just say? I know. You never have too many games. Let's go ahead though, we'll take a look at the den, because that's where some of the overflow is. That's where I do my editing for the channel. And then we'll go in the room. Alright? Yeah, I know. That looks like a mess. But that is actually where I do all my editing for our videos. Just a little desk, little area right there, nothing major. But I have some really good view of the outside world while I'm doing my editing. Now, while we're in here, the overflow I was talking about is right there. So we have some of the larger boxes out here for like Joan of Arc, Flames of War, New World, Twilight Imperium. I think the Warlord American Civil War game is up there, the starter set. But hey, let's get back to the game room because that's where the majority of everything is. Alright, so you've seen where I do my editing. You've seen a little bit of the overflow. There's some more upstairs, but you know what? That's the junk room and everything goes in there, so we ain't going there, okay? So, this right here, that's the game room. If you're ready, let's go. Oh, hey, you're already in here. Okay, cool. So, first impression, this is the opening of the game room. Just came in from the hallway. So let's take a really quick look around the room and then we'll talk about it a little bit. Okay? Cool. Alright, so just a really quick pan of the game room itself. Now a lot of people think that where we record and everything is some huge room, because all you ever really see is some backdrops. This room itself is only about 15 by 15. And unlike a lot of other gamers who use the Calyx system, you'll notice that I pretty much just have some regular bookcases in here. And in a minute we'll come off of this tripod and we'll walk around the room. Alright. So, the one thing I know you guys want to see is the game collection in here. So, we'll do a real slow-mo here, so you can get a good look of everything that's in here. Probably also seeing some of my Robotech stuff. You'll see some more of that because I am a huge Robotech buff. Some more of the original Axis and Allies and Shogun, Fortress America down there. Those are from the 80s. Some of you may recognize Fireball Island down there and Buck Rogers. Buck Rogers is also an 80s. I believe it's a TSR game. Flashpoint, Plague Inc., Dojo Kun. I think that's the Borg expansion for Ascendancy there. The original Project Elite by Artripa Games. Oh, yep, there's a 1980s Guns and Navarone up there.
Swords and Bagpipes back there behind Looters. That's, I think, one of probably my first 10 Kickstarter games. It was back in 2015 when I kind of got back into board gaming. These right here are the remote-controlled Darth Vader and X-Wing. My daughter, my oldest daughter, and her husband got those for me for Christmas. Got one year, got one the next. These right here, those are the ribbons from CMON Expo. We went for several years. They haven't had it in a couple years. Kind of wondering if it's going to come back. Used to have a really good time at that. That top shelf up there, that is all terrain and buildings. Anybody that's followed us on the Facebook page will recognize the building there in the middle. We had actually made the entire shopping center for Discover Games when we were doing the Walking Dead playthroughs up there. The Walking Dead miniature game by Mantic. Got a lot of little Hero Clicky style games. Looks like Gremlins, and then there is the Friday the 13th and Freddy set. Some more Robotech stuff up there. Cheap lighting trick. Those are $5 LED clamp-on lights from Walmart. I have 4 of them in here. A lot of the games you'll notice are just the base games, and you're wondering, well, we know you have the expansions, we've seen you play with them. When your collection gets to be this big, you don't care about expansion boxes too much. Not when you don't have a lot of storage space. And when you're in a little 15 by 15 room, and your storage space becomes limited, the expansion boxes start going out the window. And you're like, well, I know you got a lot of CMON games, but I haven't seen many of them. Okay, well, there is an entire shelf that we haven't gotten to yet. Here's a start of it. The Marvel United is one of the ones I kept all the boxes for, just because I think until I can figure out a way to label all the figures, when we go to play, it'd be a hard trying to find each figure for that. There's my Endure the Stars and Village Attacks by Grimlord Games. We got Besieged and Cactus Town and Monsterlands. Those are by Second Gate Games. Really good group of guys over there. Rail Raiders, Robotech game. So for those that have been with us from the very start, you may remember on one wall there was an entertainment center. Well, to make space, I had to destroy the entertainment center, but I kept the glass cases, and it does a really good job at kind of keeping some of my stuff in it. And I use the top to keep all my batteries and chargers and everything for the cameras. And you've heard me talk about my Risk collection. It's not huge, but it's pretty good sized. And then I had like War at Sea from the 80s. Battle Ball I think was from the 90s. Heroescape from the 90s. Plastic Soldier Company came out with World War I games. I got both the main game and both expansions for that. Here's some more terrain and figures. Looks like the dragons from Zombicide are right there. And some of the abominations from Zombicide. There's the Rat Abomination. And then that top shelf, you know, some of the more of my Robotech stuff and just some of my collectibles that I've still got out. I've actually put quite a bit of the collectibles away just to make room for some of the board games. Alright, so when you break down from expansions, you kind of have to figure out a storage system. So right there is all those cases are filled with miniatures for different games. All the Zombicide stuff is up there. All the Walking Dead by Mantic is up there. Dead Zone is up there. Some of the Dead Zone. Violent Dark is up there. The Alien games are up there. just different stuff. Then we come down into here, and we got, those ones are filled right here. They're mostly filled with tokens and dice and such. And then I got some of the figures here that I'd rather not put in the cases that are either too big or I don't want them to get broken. And there are ones I haven't really worked on. Some are base, some aren't. And then there's some of my modeling supplies here that spray paints, glues, brushes, some of the terrain stuff that I've got. These cases right here, I have no idea what might be in these. Some tools, some figures, bases. Oh, all my tanks for Flames of War and tanks. Kind of just junk drawers, really. I think those are battle tracks for Gorka Morka, actually. You know, most gamers have a shelf of shame for what they haven't played, but as a YouTube channel, I have a shelf of shame of stuff that I haven't opened. Actually, a shelf and a half, plus some stuff on the floor over there in the corner. Alright, so the CMON shelf, for the most part, or Come On Games, whichever way you want to pronounce it, depending on how long you've been with them. And then down to some of the individual stuff. Some of the newer things down here. Yep. It'll be all the CMON stuff there. And then, as I said, I was a kind of a huge Robotech fan. There's some more of my Robotech stuff there. So, for those of you who watched us play, some of you have asked what kind of cameras we use. So basically, I picked up a Nikon camera when I first started. Probably one of the best quality cameras I've got, and for good reason. It probably costs the most. I think it's a Nikon 3200. And then through the years, I have picked up camcorders. I have 4 of them. These are 2 of them here. I'm actually recording on one right now, so hopefully the quality isn't too bad. And Glenda got me a GoPro for Christmas a few years ago, so we use that for our above shots. The table itself is literally, and I'm going to go underneath real quick, is literally just a piece of plywood that we've framed in here, and it sits on our old kitchen table. You've actually seen us play on this table before without the top on it, but most of the time we just leave the top on because it's easier. We do have 5 chairs, but we can bring more chairs in if we have to. Over there is one of our camcorders sitting on a tripod that we use. Normally we go ahead and we set up a camcorder over there, and we set up one over here to shoot the 2 different sides of the table. And then we get one that has a long shot of the table. Now, people are asking, well, how do you have your above shots? I actually have a tripod attached to the ceiling that used to be a camcorder would sit on. But now it's the GoPro goes up there, and we get about 2 hours of shooting before we have to change out a battery. We just attach it in. No wires, no fuss, no nothing. The closet. The closet's a mess. We're not going in the closet. Over here on this side though, and when I move this tripod a little bit, so we do have some more cases here. Most of this is just filled with different miniatures from different games. And different stuff that, you know, I've needed to keep, but just kind of putting it someplace where I can find it easily. People ask me a lot of times at the game store, they know I have a lot of Games Workshop stuff, and they're like, why don't you ever play? And I'll be honest with you, I just not really a big Games Workshop fan anymore. It's not that it's a bad system. and they've got really quality miniatures. It's just, I don't know. I think I just got out of it. But folks, that's about it. That's the game room. Like I said, it's a 15 by 15. This is where we do all of our recordings. I actually just got 2 new bookcases. Otherwise, when we were doing this recording, that corner right there would have been up to the bottom of the Jason and Nightmare set of boxes. And over here, this one right here, this is actually a new bookcase right there that we put in just a couple days ago. But literally, there were boxes stacked up to about here from the floor. And there was also a whole stack of stuff over there in front of the closet. But that's the game room, folks. Hey, so I hope you liked the video. We've been asked about this for years. We've had our channel since 2015. So for 7 years I have gotten randomly asked for this room tour video. And, well, I wanted to make sure it looked decent, so I kind of been messing around with doing it the last couple weeks. I wanted to get the 2 new shelves, the one that has the CMON over on that side and the one with the Marvel United behind you, before we went ahead and put this together. But I hope you guys like what you saw. If you got any questions or just want to say, wow, I can't believe you have that game, go ahead and put it in the comments section. But as always, support your local gaming. We support Discover Games, Fayetteville, Georgia, and we support Dan Wolf Games in Griffin, Georgia. As always, game on.